Hello, it's DurgaMata and it's Sunday the 22nd of December and I'm starting a new project. I've not done a lot of videos this week because I've been focusing on making peace with justice and love freedom cards. They've got a dove on and they've got the Palestine colours plus purple for spiritual power. And I'm selling them to raise money to help support a family in Gaza so that hopefully they can survive the genocide. The killing has to stop at some time, and some people will be still alive, so I'm hoping I can help them to be among that number. And I've been using a big silk frame, stretching the silk and doing it in the bathroom, using the bathroom as a studio. The black is the only colour that's not a silk dye. I don't have black silk dye, so I used black ink, which is a bit experimental. It's mostly the black which seems to have eclipsed a lot of the green and even some of the red. So next time I'll know to go a bit easier on the black. So I thought the better thing to do is make a frame that's smaller. And the advantage if I make a frame that's smaller will be that it can actually be portable and I can take it with me when I go on Tuesday to visit and stay with my family in the Midlands over Christmas. So I went to B&Q and I bought some wood and I measured the size of the cards and I marked the wood where I need to cut it. And you'll see it's got a mark in the middle and two marks either side, which are the thickness of the wood. So hopefully I'll be able to overlap the edges and make a little joint there with what I've done before, even with bigger frames, is drill a hole through and put a bolt, a wing nut on the end, and then I can dismantle them and put them together. So I bought myself also a little hacksaw and I started cutting them. I've got the two end bits here, and then while I was doing that I thought, oh my goodness, I should record this on a video and get back to doing the daily mindfulness videos. I always say mindfulness is like a bird with two wings. The first wing is to bring your attention here and now, to bring your mind to the present moment. First of all, where are you? What are your outer circumstances and surroundings? And then, what are you doing? And what you're doing may be an activity. You may be noticing that you're walking or you're eating. Any activity that you may be doing can become mindful. You bring your attention to that moment and you notice what it feels like, what it looks like. You use your senses and you notice, as well as being where you are and what you're doing, you notice your breath. We're always breathing, but we don't always pay attention to it. So in mindfulness you can bring your attention to your breath, and there are many breathing exercises which are really powerful and help us to turn the stress response into rest and digest, which we'll be looking at. But at the moment I'm going to be mindful about sawing the wood. And the other thing we're looking at our feelings, physical feelings, body sensations, emotions moving through us, and our thoughts. And every time our thoughts disappear over somewhere else that's not here and now, we gently and politely bring them back. So that's the first wing of the mindfulness bird. And the second wing of the mindfulness bird is our attitude to what we're doing. And the attitude is focusing on feeling towards ourselves in a generous, kindly way, strengthening a sense of self-love and compassion and real curiosity. So we're really paying attention and noticing exactly what's going on and how we're feeling. We're noticing the little voice that chatters away at the back of our mind, talking to us about a running commentary of everything that's going on. And we're noticing whether it's helping us, whether it's honest, whether our thoughts are actually negative or positive, and we're just bringing them back to the present moment and noticing again what we're doing, what we're feeling, what we're actively engaged in, rather than allowing the mind to be wandering here and there. Every time you notice your mind has moved off, bring it gently back. And I often talk to my mind as though it's a child, and I say, hey, where have you gone to? Come back here and sit with me. Okay, now I usually have the wood resting on something like a sawhorse or a box or something solid, but I'm going to have to saw it in the air for the video. I'll just do one junction. I go halfway through, well, I go about the depth of the saw from one side, and then I tilt it, I'll try and keep it perpendicular, and go along the edge like that, and take that until the blade of the saw is disappearing, and then turn it round again. I'll do the other side, because I can see the edge of the cut just there, and get the saw into that. Try and keep it a bit perpendicular, so I can do that side. Keep going until the edge of the saw disappears again, like that. Do you see how the saw's just about disappeared into the wood now? And then turn it to the final side. Obviously I'm doing this without measurement, speeding up a little bit. The blade's disappeared again. Turn it round. Come in the angle now. And another angle. The blade's well into it now. This side. At some point, the bit that's left in the middle will be so small that it'll snap. But because I'm going in from every side, the snap won't affect the edge. See there? Done. And I'll use sandpaper to tidy up the ends. There you go. You can see there's only a small bit that snapped. And that's about halfway through on both sides. And then the next thing is to cut this way down. I can show you like that. Wait a minute, show you. Like that, down the middle, squeaky noise from this one, isn't it? Slightly different action against the grain than when I was cutting across the grain. The same on this side, roughly halfway to cut down here. Don't know if you can see cutting down here. Try and keep it in front of the camera, which is easier said than done. I won't do the other joints in front of the camera because it's not the most straightforward way to do it. It gives you an idea. Now I'm going to cut down the end. You can see it's coming across there, not particularly straight, but not far off. cut towards yourself. That's the rule when you're using a knife or a saw. Always cut away from yourself or towards a hard surface like a chopping board in the kitchen, or use a sawhorse so that you're just cutting against the air. And the ends resting on something solid, but I'm breaking the rules because I'm holding it and cutting towards myself, because I think I'm quite clever and I'm not going to cut myself. Now I may be far enough that I could actually use a wedge and split it. I think I'll try that. Screwdriver. I can use the screwdriver as a wedge, put it in where I've made a cut, and see if we get any results. I don't want to snap the bottom bit off for sure. There, how about that? Absolutely brilliant. Obviously it needs a little bit tidying up, but you can get the idea. That will be one side, and then the next one will fit across it here. So I'm going to do all of those ones, and I'll show you what it's like when it's finished, when I've done all the corners. So when we finish a mindfulness exercise, I always like to take my attention to my breath. Have a bit of a stretch. Rub my hands together, and they are quite cold. Rub them together to get a bit of friction, a bit of warmth from the friction. Then just hold the sides of my face and consciously feel what it's like to be me at this moment. The solidness of my body, the warmth of my body. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude for life, gratitude for the universe. Gratitude for the breath and the capacity to breathe. Gratitude for the strong, warm body I inhabit. Gratitude for the idea of making a frame, a small frame. Gratitude for having the capacity to buy the materials for the frame. Gratitude for having the time, giving the time to making the frame and to sharing it with you and being more mindful. Gratitude to you for watching. Feeling the love, the self-love and compassion in my heart. And as it's full of love, sharing that love with the world and with you who are watching. Sending you all my love on this evening. Hello again. It's a little bit later on Sunday, the 22nd of December, and I've got all the pieces now to the stage where they can be fitted together. They will need cleaning up. I'll use a file and sandpaper, but basically the ends look like this. They've got their step to make the joint. If I can lay it like that, then you can see how it's coming together. And for now, what I'm going to do, I've not got a drill here. I'll do that when I'm at my son's. He's got lots of tools. We'll file it, smooth it, make it fit really neatly, drill a hole through the corners, through these intersections, and put a little bolt with wing nuts so that you can assemble it and take it apart really easily. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bind it with maybe a strip of fabric and put some PVA in water that I dip the fabric in so that I bind the corners and they will dry, stick, and I can use them straight away without having to wait for them to be drilled or anything else. and I would like to actually experiment with it before I go to Birmingham in 2 days' time. So I'll keep you up to date. And remember, be in the moment, be mindful, here and now, with your attitude of kindliness, compassion, self-love, love for the world, love for all of creation, gratitude, and serious curiosity. Bye. Hello again. This is the PVA, and it's glue. I've had to force the lid off because it was stuck, so I've put it back with some plastic bags to make it fit tighter. And I've taken some PVA, mixed it with water, camera. So that's quite a thin PVA. Got some strips of cloth torn up, and I've torn one up into strips. I'm squishing it around in the PVA nice and squishily. So now we've got the strips all with PVA in, and I'll bind my new frame together and leave it to dry overnight, and I can use it tomorrow. See you later. So here is the magic frame. Can you see it? Like that. And the corners are all bound with the cloth that's got PVA. So I'll leave that to dry overnight. It should be ready to work with.